right, you might remember this. Back in 2004, former U.S. President Bill Clinton had quadruple bypass surgery, and in his first public appearance after the operation, he was seen holding a copy of this, No Second Chance, by Harlan Coben. Here's the funny thing. Harlan's books are packed with enough thrills and suspense to make anyone's heart skip a beat or two, so perhaps not quite what the doctor had ordered for William Jefferson Clinton, but it was an amazing plug for Harlan. Best-selling crime fiction author and the undisputed king of domestic suspense. With 50 million books in print worldwide, his last 4 thrillers all debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list, and each plays out in the middle-class New Jersey suburbs where Harlan himself grew up. Now, after college, he worked as a tour guide in the family travel business, lived in his parents' basement, began banging out novels, and he struck a chord with a character named Myron Bolitar, a ball player turned sports agent turned reluctant private eye. The series was a hit, but Harlan really blew up big with a standalone thriller called Tell No One. It was made into a film, which is one of the best suspense films you will ever see. It also starred, where has she been, Kristen Scott Thomas. And incidentally, the film picked up 4 Césars, which are the French equivalent of the Genie Awards. Now, 22 books later, Harlan's back with a new book called Stay Close. It's a classic Harlan Coben thriller about redemption, murder, and the dark side of the American dream.
This is not the life I'm supposed to be living.
Please welcome Harlan Coben.
Hey, bud.
Hey, George.
Nice to see you again, man.
How are you, pal?
Yeah. It's great to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh, you see, you look beautiful. Nice set here.
This is not bad, eh?
Good.
Not bad.
Good home.
I like it.
Yeah.
For now, this is what's working for us. Yeah. So if this interview were to be a Harlan Coben story, it would begin with me sticking a knife in you, killing you, then putting your body inside this chair, getting away with it, and 30 years later, it being revealed to me that you are actually my brother.
No, it'd be what I hope. That's right. Well, I like to twist you around. I want to keep you on the edge of your seat.
It's pretty good. You've found a way to really navigate this crime fiction world and keep people excited. And you go really dark, but it doesn't seem to lose your mainstream appeal, right?
Right. I mean, most of my books don't deal with a murder as much as a disappearance. Because with a disappearance, you have hope. And hope can be the most wonderful thing in the world, or it can crush your heart like an eggshell. And I think that's what people find compelling.
And so, how did you discover that hope was the way to go? When you first started writing them, was it darker than that?
Yeah, you know what? If you have someone just murdered, you're down to crime, we're just trying to solve the crime, we're trying to figure it out. But again, with hope, you can really study the human condition, not to get too heavy on anybody, but you can really put people through their paces. And suppose someone who you think is dead, I mean, you talk about Tell No One, we talk about Tell No One. Yeah. Suppose someone you think is dead might still be alive. That's the ultimate retribution, the ultimate
Tell No One. I remember just seeing, it was in an art house theater, I walked by it, I hadn't heard of it, I saw the poster, and the idea was, there's this guy whose wife disappeared or died. Yeah. 8 years later, he got an email from her. Yeah. And I was like, I need to see this movie right now. And it's a French film, and it's really well done. Yeah. You also were even more involved in that. We'll talk about it in a second. But as it relates to this one, I mean, congratulations, New York Times bestseller list, right? Again? Yeah. Was that 5 in a row now?
It's 5 #1s in a row, and it never gets old. I gotta be honest. I never get tired of that phone call from my publisher saying, yeah, it hit #1. It's still, it's like, pinch me. You gotta be kidding me. But
it's because you have an interesting relationship with the literature crowd. Because you'll go #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, but you don't really get mentioned in that Sunday book review, right?
No. That's fine. Yeah. You can't have everything. I mean, I've never met, when writers pretend otherwise, I've never met a writer who doesn't want to be more critically acclaimed or sell more books. I mean, that's just, every writer wants to do that. So it's pretty cool. I'm really thrilled.
But when you have one, do you want the other?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But again, like every literary writer I know who has wonderful reviews wishes they had my sales.
Of course.
We'd all want to be better looking too, you know what I mean? So that's just the way it is in life.
You're pretty diligent about it, aren't you? You're like I don't have a hobby kind of guy?
I don't. I mean, I have 4 kids, so that's a lot of hobby right there. My oldest is 18 and my youngest is 10. My 18-year-old, my teens keep you honest, you know what I mean? So like my picture's on the full page ad in the New York Times, and my daughter walks by in the morning. This is my quick impression of my daughter. She walks by and goes, ew. Just keeps walking, just keeps walking.
It's like you got the daughter from Modern Family. How did that happen, man?
All teenage daughters are the same. So, in fact, when I was on a TV show, I was wearing makeup like I am now, and I was tweeting, oh, I'm wearing makeup. Oh, I like wearing makeup. All of a sudden, I get a text from my daughter saying, stop tweeting about makeup, So it's still my job to horrify my kids.
But it does show that you've reached another level in a way, right?
Yeah.
That you're looking at your reaction from other people. I mean, you making a movie of this? Is that the next plan?
Yeah.
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 And we talked about Tell No One. So you write Tell No One. It gets made into a French film, which is a fantastic film.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard. It's going to be really hard to make a better version of it. And then I hear there's an American version being made with Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
Well, Ben Affleck's directing it. The French, it was really weird because it's an American book that was made into a French story, placed in France, and now will be brought back to America. I actually think, with what I've seen of Ben's ideas, I think it's going to really kind of be awesome. It's a little bit of a second chance at tasting the apple. There's some things that I thought were wrong with the French movie, so I'm kind of really excited about it. And we had a great time making the French film. I'm actually in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in about 4 seconds. I don't say anything. But I was brilliant, really. I don't want to. I don't want to brag.
Well, listen, you can say you were brilliant, but we're going to show the audience that clip in just a bit. It's a far cry from Jersey, right?
It is.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, when we were showing the premiere, and I'm on the Champs-Élysées of Paris, and I'm thinking to myself, I came up with this idea in my house in Ridgewood, New Jersey. And now here I am on the Champs-Élysées with 2,000 people watching in the French theater. It was pretty heavy.
No kidding, man.
Yeah.
You do have that dark side of the American dream, the idyllic suburb where things go horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Were you an imaginative kid, imagining your neighbors' houses and thinking this sort of stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I look at the American suburb as the battleground of the American dream. It's where we go to live our life and do right and raise our kids. Same thing in Canada. But wrong still seems to find us. And where this dream comes true is a great place to set a book. I think that's part of the appeal. We know these people. They're us and they're our neighbors. And what if something kind of goes wrong in that world? Yeah. And that's where I start tumbling it down.
Is it something you pick up in a newspaper and you go, that's the guy, that's the nucleus of the story, and I'm going to build from there?
You know, most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's my real life.
Do you think it's important for people to explore their own fear, even if they don't see it on the surface?
No. I think if you want to explore your own fear, more power to you, and if you don't have to. But I think it's a safe way of looking at these sort of issues. I hate that word issues, because I don't write issue books. I write books that are going to keep you up all night. That's my job.
Right.
I want you to go to bed 10 o'clock at night, say I'll read 15 minutes, 4 in the morning, you're cursing me out. I love that. That turns me on. Bring
That's
it.
the guy.
That's what I want to be.
There's something going on inside your head, Harlan.
It's not good. It's not a pretty place. I always say a novel's like a sausage. You might like the final taste. You don't want to see how it was made.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Is it hard for you to write? Is it a difficult process?
It's never easy. I mean, it's constantly torturous. It's constantly having self-doubts. I constantly hate myself. I constantly think I stink. I'll be writing. I'll be going, oh my God, I'm so bad. I lost it. I was so good before. What happened to me? 2 minutes later, I'll be, oh my God, this is sheer genius. Someone's going to give that book a chance. And those insecurities go on all the time. I just finished a book, another book to write. And so I'm the emptiest vessel imaginable right now. And I'm so scared I'll never have another idea. Happens every book. Oh my God, that's it. I'm out of ideas.
What if that book debuts at #2 on the bestsellers list, which would be a dream for most people? Do you worry about that kind of stuff?
That I don't worry about so much.
But you're a sports guy. Like, you're the unlikely writer, successful fiction writer, right? You're like the sports guy, so you have this idea of winning.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no question that I'm ambitious. But at the same time, people say, is that pressure? Pressure was when I was first starting out trying to get a contract. Yeah. Pressure when I was trying to feed the family kind of a thing. This is all gravy now. This is all fun, We're going to the other countries that the book is in and, all that stuff. That's just fun. So the pressure's always been self-inflicted. The same way you want, no matter what your ratings are, you want your show to be better.
Right.
All right? The same way I want every book that I write to be better than the one before. It doesn't matter what it sells.
What about getting the idea of a woman? Is that a different experience?
It's funny. I'm always intimidated by it, but I end up hearing, thank goodness for most women, that I'm able to do it. I don't know if it's my feminine side, or I don't know we're all more alike than we think, or I always try to write realistic women. I always hate those kind of women in Jeopardy novels where the heroine is like so naive that she goes out and she says, gee, there's a serial killer loose in the woods. I think I'll rent a secluded cabin, not tell anybody where I'm going, not hook up a phone line, hang out in my bra and panties all day. I mean, dude, come on. So, writing a real woman is actually easy.
There's a 17-year-old kid watching us on March break now who's totally bummed out that women aren't actually like that. You just totally ruined his life. Stick around. We're going to find out the greatest prank he ever pulled off, because he liked the frat prank. Anthropology with Harlan Coben after this.
C'est les flics. Ils veulent te manipuler, c'est tout. On peut faire n'importe quoi avec nos ordinateurs.
Ah, c'est plus vieille sur la vidéo.
Et alors, ils ont des logiciels de vieillissement. Ils s'en servent pour les enfants disparus.
The menacing Harlan Coben. Luke lurking in the background of Tell No One.
Yeah, that movie was nominated for 9 Césars, which is the French Oscar. Yeah. And yet, I didn't get one for Best Supporting Actor for what you just saw. Well, I'm not saying they're anti-American, but I have no other explanation
Are you going to be in the movie version of this?
Oh, I better be. I want to roll equally as powerful and equally as scene-stealing as the one we just witnessed.
With Lawrence Kasdan, right?
Yeah, the great Lawrence Kasdan.
The Big Chill.
Yeah.
I think he also did Grand Canyon, which is a
Grand Canyon. Oh. He wrote Empire Strikes Back and Raiders of the Lost Ark, Body Heat, which is one of the great thriller movies of all time. And it'll be his first thriller since Body Heat. And he and I are co-writing it, and then Lawrence Kasdan's going to direct it. And I cannot be more excited. We're already working on it, so
that's
we're already
working on it. I mean, it's a big book, and there's a lot of different angles. So things are going to have to fall out. Do you already know in your head when you write a book? Do you know where it could be a movie?
I don't, and it's really kind of a weird process that I just finished the book and now I got to change it. You know, it's really strange.
Your folks didn't really get to see the big success, did they?
No, they didn't. My parents died fairly young.
Yeah, and so I wondered what if they could see this, what would they think? Aside from obviously they'd be proud of you.
Yeah.
What would they think of this?
I think they'd be as stunned as I am. I mean, losing my parents was the most crushing thing that ever happened to me. I lost my dad when I was 26, and it changed my life entirely. And in fact, I overwrite in some of my books some of the parent, father, son scenes, because that's what I imagine my relationship would be with my dad had he survived. Yeah. So their loss, unfortunately, it's not a silver lining on the cloud, but there's no question that their death makes me a better writer and makes me a better human being. I mean, you learn the cliches that life's short and you got to appreciate what you have and really, love every moment I have with my own kids. But there's no question it made me a better writer, and that's not worth it. I wouldn't want to make that trade, but it did.
Of course.
Yeah.
Is it like more drive in that respect, more discipline as a writer, or just more creative or more emotional?
It's more emotional. It's more getting into the heads. There's a lot of people who will read the book and say, "Wow, you get grieving, you get what loss is like." I wrote a couple father-son pieces and mother-son pieces. My mom also died young. And so all of that, I think, makes me a better writer, makes me more emotional. It makes me able to go to those places that thrillers don't normally go. It's not enough for me to stir your pulse and keep you up all night. I have to move you. If you're not genuinely moved by these characters, then I haven't done my job.
It's a great way to look at it. All right, so a couple of questions to anthropology here. What did it feel like for you just that first second when you saw the photo of Bill Clinton holding your book?
It was really weird. It was so cool. I mean, I knew he had read the books before, but I came home from a New York Giant football game, a big Giants fan, and there's all these messages saying, "We want you to comment on a Bill Clinton story." I'm like, me? So when I called them, they showed me this picture of Bill Clinton holding the book right after the surgery. It was really cool.
That's amazing. Do you think you have more Republican fans or Democrats?
50-50. When it comes... All I could say is, you can argue about if Bill Clinton was a great president or not. He was our best read president. Right. That is clear to me. But it's funny, I'm friends with Chris Christie, reads all of my books, the governor of New Jersey.
Is he a better politician or a better friend?
Yes. We actually fight and argue quite a bit, but it's usually a healthy argument in the fight.
Knicks or Nets?
Knicks.
I know you're a big Rangers fan because you text me when you're at Rangers games.
I'm a big Rangers. I'm going tomorrow night to watch the Rangers. Yeah.
Okay, so top of the standings, top of the table.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Are you a believer in the playoffs with this team?
Yes, right now, I love this team. I love their enthusiasm. I love that they're not the most talented, but they got the heart, and I just love this team.
You were in the same frat as Dan Brown, right? Did you guys ever pull pranks on each other?
We didn't. We're good friends still now, though, and we were just recently together, and sometimes we sit across going, can you believe what happened to us? Why weren't we like this in college? We could have been a lot more popular.
I'm really happy to see you on the show, man.
It's great being here, George. Nice to see you.
The book is called Stay Close. It is definitely a page turner. Harlan Coben, we'll be right back.